Well, welcome to Partners in Ministry. My name's Dan Smith, and my guest today is Jacque Wilbur. Jacque is both the Grant and Communications Director for the Middle River Friends Church Food Pantry in Carlisle, Iowa. In today's interview, we're going to learn about the ministry of the Food Pantry and explore ways that we can get connected. Well, welcome, Jacque, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, I'm really glad and excited that you invited me to come, and here we go.
I've been hearing some really wonderful things about this ministry that you started here a few years ago. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how and why you guys decided to start a food pantry in the first place?
Well, the first words you're going to hear come out of my mouth are COVID. And
Okay.
You would think by now we wouldn't be talking about COVID, but it had some pretty long-reaching effects. I think it still does. So in 2020, in March of 2020, actually, we got this great big huge notice that nobody can go to church, nobody can leave their house, nobody can go food shopping, nobody can do anything. And being somewhat of quiet Quaker rebels that we are, we thought, well, we're going to continue church, which we did. We socially distanced everybody far apart. We never did close our doors, and we had the capability of having an online service. But during that time, very few people were coming to church, and a couple of our ladies were getting their heads together, and they were saying, well, there has to be something that we can do here for this. Why do we have to stay home and we can't have communication with anyone, but we can do something? What can we do? And the idea of a blessings table, it just came up. So this couple ladies in our church and a few of us other ones got together and created a blessings table in the narthex in our church. And we set it out there, and we put out a few items and said, if anyone wants to come and they need this item, please take it home. And then the next time you come through, you can bring something else back and bless someone else. And so that was our very, very beginning 4 years ago.
Sure. So
Yeah.
it was basically a ministry to yourself. It was kind of an inside idea, right?
It was an inside idea. It was, how can we help our church members? How can we minister to the small community we're in? We're in rural Warren County. And so there's very few churches in rural Warren County, and definitely no food pantries in rural Warren County. And so we didn't even have food pantry on our mind. We just had, how can we help? What can we do to help someone during this time? It kind of grew very rapidly out of that into, well, people were bringing perishable items, so they brought in a refrigerator. We stuck the refrigerator in the narthex so we could refrigerate some items. And then we had 3 tables instead of 1. And it just kept growing until it kind of moved back to our fellowship hall. And then pretty soon it took over our broom closet. I mean, it just got bigger, faster, very fast. People wanted to help donate things. So somebody else donated another refrigerator. Somebody donated a freezer. Several other people came along. Someone worked for a meat packing company, and all of a sudden we had more hams than we knew what to do with. And we were being able to bless our community by offering more than just a blessings table. So we called ourselves a little food pantry. And out of that, we grew into where we are now today, a full-fledged 501c3 Middle River Friends CCA food pantry. We incorporated, we have a board of directors, and we serve a lot of people.
So I'm assuming that let's talk about the size growth that's been happening here. When you first started out with the blessings table, you were probably ministering to maybe 20, 30 people, somewhere in that neighborhood?
Oh, maybe 2 or 3 people a week. The blessings table, just maybe 2 or 3. And then it grew to maybe about, maybe 20 a month.
And how many people are you serving now?
But today, absolutely today, this I have to look at my numbers because I talked to our director to get the numbers. We give out a family box. So a box is family box of food that includes 7 proteins, cereal, dry goods, perishable items, non-perishable items. We have a large variety and selection of meat and protein and cheese and milk and cottage cheese and things that many food pantries are not able to do because we have the refrigeration equipment to do that. And so last year, we were able to produce in 2022, like about 1,300 food boxes which served about 4,200 people. In 2023, we expanded, it keeps growing to where we've distributed 1,500 family food boxes. That was probably close to 6,300 people in a year.
Are these boxes then pre-put together and the people just come in and get a box and go, or do they do assembly themselves? How does that work? I mean, that's a lot of people, a lot of food.
It is a lot of people. It is a lot of food. It's a lot of boxes. We have them come into our church. There are some food pantries that operate where you go to the curbside, you pick up a box and you leave. But ours is different than that. Ours is a ministry. So we not only provide food, we also provide counseling and friendship and conversation and care for the person that comes in the door. We take our time with them. The box is a basic box that's set up, but they are free to exchange different items for items. For instance, if they're gluten-free, we make sure that that's available. If someone's allergic to peanuts or something, that is not, included in their box. Another person may be coming in who we call it shopping. They don't want the whole box. That's too much food for them. So we let them pick items off the shelf. It's a kind of like I don't know how to exactly describe it. Flexible. Although we have our basic box and so forth, we also partner with other agencies and businesses and people in the community, and we have different things available at different times. Our food pantry is open on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every week. And if you're in our community that we serve, that's our Peach community, then you can come once a week to our food pantry. And nobody's ever turned away. If you don't have food, we provide something for you.
So what is the scope of the Peach community itself? Is it just like in the city limits of Carlisle, or what's the scope in terms of where people are coming from that are in this community?
Peach stands for Palmyra, Easter Lake, Avon, Carlisle, and Hartford.
Okay.
And those are the communities that are in the Carlisle School District. The cities that are in that would be Carlisle and Hartford. The rest of it is rural country. The Peach is Palmyra is it's the township of Palmyra. So we're rural. We're not a city.
What kind of stories, what kind of feedback are you getting from the people that are being served? I mean, how has this helped them? How's it impacted them? How's it encouraged them? What are you hearing from the people that are benefiting from the food?
We get a lot of positive feedback and comments. One family was struggling because they had lost their job. They had lost everything. They were living in a camper in a campgrounds. And we were able to provide nourishment for them and some staple items and things. They needed some bedding, and we put the word out. We were able to get volunteers to bring things for them. We do not normally pass out dog food or things like that, but this particular family had a huge need, and so we had people who contributed towards that. They were so grateful. And then we were able to find some contacts within the neighborhood and in the area to help provide employment for them, that they were able to have employment for a year because of contacts that they had made through our food pantry. We went out of our way to help this family. They're very, very deserving. And they just fell on hard times. It was not something that they thought they would have forever, and they don't. They're much better on their feet now. And we still contact them to see how they're doing, even though they don't attend our food pantry anymore.
Yeah, that's got to have had a very large impact as far as how people think about you in the community as well. Well, your role is there too, I would think.
I think it does, because it's a word of mouth, and many people didn't even know our church was sitting out here in Warren County, even though they live in this area, and it's a bit of a drive, but it's much easier drive to come to us than it is to drive over to West Des Moines and Des Moines to go to the food pantry where they were attending. So it's more local. Another lady has foster children and shared the great news that she was going to take on one more. So then she's going to have 10 children in her family. and she wasn't sure how she was going to do it, but her heart said she had to. And we said, well, our heart will be right with you along the way, and whatever we can do to help. And so we made special arrangements to find people who would be willing to provide diapers, the disposables for this lady, for this little baby that she's taking into her home. And we get written notes, thank you notes. One lady came in and absolutely insisted to give us a donation of money. And we said, no, there is no cost to this. And she said to go ahead and she really wanted to do that. And if she didn't have to pay for anything, we could use the money to buy something back for the food pantry.
That's awesome. That's
It
awesome.
is. But we touch people's lives in many more ways than only distributing food. And we're looking to add some additional programs to our things that we can offer to our patrons.
That is great. I know that it takes a real big team of people to help pull this off. So where are you getting the laborers to make this ministry work?
The people that help at our food pantry physically help there, that are there to help serve our patrons that come in, are from our community. Not all of them are from our church. We have a very small church as far as numbers go. Our building is huge, but our numbers are small. But we have probably maybe 25 volunteers, and some come from at least 3 or 4 other churches in the community. And I think a couple others, maybe, I don't even know if they attend church except for coming to our food pantry to volunteer.
Sure. Yeah. And have the volunteers talked a little bit about what a blessing it's been to be able to serve, to be able to do something to help?
I think so. One of them that volunteers is a retired nurse, and she has that special quality of serving others. And it's very evident that she finds joy in doing this. Another one is so super organized that, boy, she can just run circles around me, and it's just great. And I love having her here. And they're all very positive in their comments. And a couple of them have even gone out and asked a friend of theirs to come and help us. We could always use another volunteer to help us at the food pantry.
That's a good segue right into my next question. That is, listening to this thing, I'm going, man, I want to be a part of that. That sounds like a really cool thing to do. Where do I start? What do I do if I want to get involved with what you're doing?
Call me. We do have a Facebook page, the Friends Food Pantry, and it is a ministry of Middle River Friends Church. It is independent of Middle River Friends Church. So it is a ministry of the church, but it's its own self. It's its own 501c3. And any donations that people want to give are more than welcome and appreciated. It can be the electronic, you can find it on our website. You can write letters, whatever. You can call the church's phone number, 58989-3319, area code 515. You can call that. You can send us an email. You can send a text message. You can stop by. Just come and see us. Come and visit. You'd be amazed. Hy-Vee now donates bread to us on every Monday morning. We get a lot of stuff through the Iowa Food Bank. $1 that you give to us can buy substantially more food to fill our boxes than what you could as if you were to go to the store and buy it yourself. We have great plans for having counselors come in to help us counsel people. That their counseling would be free, so financial counseling, spiritual counseling, whatever. And we have a table that we set out for other agencies and other places for help that you can get in Warren County. So we are a resource area also. I guess email, text message seems to be a good thing these days.
A lot of people are doing that. That's for sure.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jacque, that just really sounds great. It just sounds like a little small idea back when the pandemic got started to just serve a couple of people that were kind of struggling a little bit has really turned into the development of a community resource center, really.
Well, and it is, and we definitely want this to continue. And because we are a ministry of the Middle River Church, we don't just do this because we just do this. We do this because we want to serve others as Jesus did. When Jesus would, have his sermon, and he would be talking about things that are going on, or he would say, bring the children to me. Well, our children are our heart. We set up aside an area for little kids to come in. So in fact, yesterday, a lady came in with her daughter, and the minute she got in the door, she goes, "Mommy, Mommy," and ran for the corner because there was a children's area where she could play while her mom got her food. And Jesus, when he fed the 5,000, it's like, okay, he fed your body, but he also spoke in parables. He also had stories. He also fed their soul. And that's kind of where we're coming from. We're more than just a food pantry. We are a full-fledged ministry of the heart, and we want to glorify Jesus and exalt our Lord in everything that we say and do. We want to help guarantee that there's no family in our little corner of Warren County that would have to possibly choose between having a meal or paying their bills. We will help provide them with the meals.
And that is wonderful. Well, Jacque, that is a great overview. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Hey, if you got any questions, or if you'd like to learn more about the Middle River Friends Church Food Pantry, you can see their contact information here on the screen. You can also find it in the show notes for this episode on our website, or it's in the description of this YouTube video. So on behalf of Middle River Friends Church Food Pantry, Jacque, Wilbur, and Partners in Ministry, I want to thank you for joining us. And until next time, let's get out there and serve as Christ serves.